So in the second question, firstly we need to find b so that the above defined function is a valid joint PDF. So if this function is a valid joint PDF, the double integration of this function should be 1. So firstly, we need to calculate the double integration of this function, and let the result equals to 1, and finally we can get the b. And since we can see the domain is unit square, so which means if x ranges from -1 to 1, and y should the range of y should be negative square root y minus x squared, from this to square root y minus x squared. So we at first we get the double integration range, and then we take this to calculation. And since b is unrelated to y and x, we can just take them out and do the double integration. So firstly we calculate the integration of y, and we can get that the result of this should be 2 times square root y minus x squared. So we can take 2 outside the integration and finally do the integration of x again. The result of this integration is pi divided 2. So finally we can get that 2 times b times pi divided 2 is 1. So we can get b is the reciprocal of pi, so which is the first answer. When b is the reciprocal of pi, the function is a valid joint PDF. In the second question, we need to find the expectation of x based on small y, x based on big Y, big Y based on small x, big Y based on big X, and expectation of EXY. So if we first calculate the expectation of x. So also we need to do the double integration and use the x to times the function fx. So after simplify, the result will be 2 divided pi, and the integration from -1 to 1 x times square root y minus x squared dx. So after that, I let fx equals to x times y minus x squares. So we can get that f negative x equals to negative fx, which means fx is an odd function. So the integration of the odd function from -1 to 1 is 0. So we can calculate that ex is 0. Since ex is 0, so we can get that the expectation of ex based small y is 0, and ex based on big Y is also 0 for everyone, since ex is 0. And due to the symmetry, we can also calculate that the expectation of y is 0, and e big Y based on small x equals to 0, and ey based on big X is equals to 0 too. And from now we get that the first 6 expectation is always equals to 0, and finally we need to calculate the expectation of ex times y. So exy equals to the reciprocal of pi, and then the double integration from -1 to 1, and negative square y minus x squared from to square root 1 minus x squared xy dy dx. So since we can observe that when we do the integration of y, it's an odd function, so the result of exy is also 0. So after that, we finish the question B and find that all the expectation of these are 0. And then in the second question, we need to prove or disprove x1 are uncorrelated or not.